You know, there's something I've been thinking about lately, how easy it is to forget the little things that used to bring us so much joy. Maybe it's because life gets busy, or maybe we just assume those pleasures are behind us. But here's the truth, joy doesn't have an expiration date. In fact, some of the simplest, most forgotten pleasures can light up our days in ways we might not expect. So today, let's talk about how to find joy again, not by chasing big, complicated things, but by rediscovering the small, beautiful moments that have been there all along. Whether it's revisiting an old hobby or savoring a quiet morning, these forgotten pleasures can make life feel richer, brighter, and more fulfilling. Now, I'd love to share a few of these with you. And who knows? Maybe one of them will spark something wonderful for you today. Let's start with the first one, the joy of slowing down. When we were younger, life often felt like a race, work, family, responsibilities, always moving, always doing. But now we have the gift of time. And one of the simplest ways to find joy is to give yourself permission to slow down. To sit with a cup of tea and really taste it. To watch the birds outside your window without feeling like you should be doing something else. There's a quiet magic in those unhurried moments, a kind of peace that can fill your heart if you let it. And here's something beautiful, when you slow down, you start noticing things you might have missed before. The way sunlight filters through the leaves, the sound of laughter from a nearby porch, the warmth of a well-worn book in your hands. These are the moments that stitch together a joyful life. Now, let's talk about another forgotten pleasure, the joy of creating something with your hands. Maybe you used to knit, or paint, or garden, or build things, but somewhere along the way, you set it aside. Life does that sometimes. But here's the thing, creating isn't just about the end result. It's about the feeling of clay between your fingers, the rhythm of a needle pulling through yarn, the satisfaction of seeing a seed you planted push through the soil. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to make something perfect. Just the act of creating, of bringing something into the world with your own hands, can be incredibly joyful. So why not pick up that old hobby again? Or try something new? Even if it's just doodling in a notebook or arranging flowers in a vase, let yourself enjoy the process. And finally, let's not forget the joy of music. Music has a way of reaching deep into our memories and our hearts. Maybe there's a song that takes you back to your younger days, or a melody that always lifts your spirits. Why not let yourself get lost in it again? Put on an old record, hum along to a favorite tune, or even tap your feet to a rhythm that makes you smile. And if you've ever played an instrument, even just a little, consider picking it up again. You might be surprised at how your fingers remember the motions, how the music still lives inside you. But even if you just listen, let it wash over you. Let it remind you of moments, people, places, let it bring you joy. Now, these are just a few of the forgotten pleasures we'll explore together. There are so many more waiting to be rediscovered. So, let's keep going, shall we? Because joy isn't something we find once, it's something we choose, again and again, in the small and lovely moments of life. You know, it's funny how the things that once brought us so much happiness can quietly slip away without us even noticing. Life changes, routines shift, and before we know it, we've let go of little joys that used to light up our days. But here's the good news, those pleasures haven't gone anywhere. They're still there, waiting for us to reach out and embrace them again. So let's keep exploring these forgotten joys, because sometimes, all it takes is a gentle nudge to remind us how wonderful life can be. Next up is the joy of handwritten letters. In this fast-paced world of texts and emails, there's something deeply special about putting pen to paper. Think about it, when was the last time you wrote a letter just because? Not a bill, not a form, but a real, heartfelt note to someone you care about. There's a warmth to it, a personal touch that can't be replicated by a screen. Maybe you could write to an old friend, a grandchild, or even yourself. Share a memory, a thought, or just a simple "I'm thinking of you." And if you're on the receiving end of a handwritten letter, you know how it feels, like holding a little piece of someone's heart in your hands. It doesn't have to be long or poetic. It just has to be yours. And who knows? You might start a beautiful tradition that brings joy to both you and the people you love. Now, let's talk about the joy of learning something new. Somewhere along the way, many of us start to believe that learning is for the young, that our time for curiosity and discovery has passed. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Learning keeps our minds sharp, our spirits lively, and our days interesting. And the best part? It doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe you've always wanted to know more about birds, so you get a guidebook and start identifying the ones in your backyard. Or perhaps you'd like to try a few words of a new language, just for the fun of it. You could even take an online class about something that's always intrigued you: history, painting, astronomy, anything at all. The point isn't to become an expert. It's to enjoy the process, to feel that little spark of excitement when you understand something new. And here's a wonderful side effect: when we stay curious, we stay young at heart. Now, let's move on to the joy of giving without expectation. There's a unique kind of happiness that comes from doing something kind for someone else, not because you have to, not because you'll get something in return, but just because you can. It might be as simple as baking cookies for a neighbor, offering a sincere compliment, or volunteering your time for a cause you care about. But here's the key: this isn't about grand gestures. It's about the small, everyday ways we can make someone's day a little brighter. And in doing so, we often find that our own hearts feel lighter too. There's a beautiful reciprocity in kindness. It nourishes the giver as much as the receiver. So why not look for those little opportunities? Hold the door for someone, share a story with a lonely friend, or even smile at a stranger. You'll be amazed at how these small acts can fill your own life with joy. Now, we've covered a lot of ground already, but there's still more to explore. Because joy isn't a destination, it's a journey, and every step along the way can be a chance to find something wonderful. So let's keep going, shall we? There are still more forgotten pleasures to uncover, and I can't wait to share them with you. Continue. Part 3, Final Points and Conclusion. Isn't it remarkable how many simple pleasures we've let fade into the background of our lives? Like old friends we've lost touch with, these little joys are still there, just waiting for us to reach out and invite them back in. Today, we're going to explore the last few forgotten pleasures that can help fill your days with warmth and meaning. Let's begin with the joy of storytelling. Think about all the stories you carry inside you, the childhood adventures, the lessons learned, the love stories and laughter, even the hard times you've weathered with grace. These aren't just memories, they're treasures. And sharing them? That's a gift, both for you and for whoever gets to hear them. You don't need to be a professional writer or speaker. Just start small. Tell a grandchild about what life was like when you were their age. Share a funny moment from your past with a friend over coffee. Even writing a few memories down in a notebook can be surprisingly joyful. There's magic in remembering and passing along the wisdom and warmth of your experiences. And who knows? Your stories might become the kind that get told for generations. Now, let's talk about the joy of nature's simple gifts. When was the last time you really stopped to appreciate the natural world around you? Not just seeing it, but feeling it: the sun on your face, the smell of rain on pavement, the sound of leaves rustling in the wind. These moments of connection with nature are like a balm for the soul. You don't need to hike a mountain or swim in the ocean, though you certainly can if you want to. Joy can be found in watching clouds drift by from your porch, tending to a single houseplant, or feeding the birds in your backyard. Nature meets us exactly where we are. All we have to do is pay attention. And here's something beautiful: the more you notice these small natural wonders, the more you'll find them everywhere, in the pattern of frost on a window, in the way light changes with the seasons, in the first blooms of spring. The world becomes full of quiet miracles. Next, let's remember the joy of silliness. As we get older, we sometimes forget how good it feels to be playful, to laugh until our sides hurt, to be delightfully ridiculous, to let go of being proper or dignified for a little while. But here's the truth: laughter and lightheartedness have no age limit. Maybe it's telling terrible jokes just to see people groan. Maybe it's dancing in your kitchen when no one's watching. Maybe it's wearing something colorful just because it makes you happy. These moments of unfiltered joy are like vitamins for the spirit. So give yourself permission to be silly sometimes. The world is serious enough, your joy matters too. And finally, let's talk about the joy of gratitude. This might be the most powerful joy of all, because it transforms how we see everything. It's not about ignoring life's difficulties, it's about noticing the good that exists alongside them. Try this. Each day, take a moment to name 3 things you're grateful for. They can be as simple as a good cup of coffee, a phone call from someone you love, or a comfortable chair to rest in. The more you practice this, the more you'll start to see joy isn't something that happens to us. It's something we choose to recognize in the life we already have. So there we have it, 10 forgotten pleasures that can help us find joy again. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Joy isn't about recapturing your youth or trying to be someone you're not. It's about embracing exactly where you are right now and finding the beauty in it. You've lived a life full of experiences, of love and learning, of challenges overcome and wisdom earned. And now is the perfect time to savor all those little joys that make life sweet. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these forgotten pleasures resonated most with you? Are there others you've rediscovered in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video brought you some joy today, consider liking and subscribing for more content like this. Remember, no matter what season of life you're in, joy is never out of reach. Sometimes, it's been right there beside you all along, waiting to be noticed, waiting to be cherished. Here's to finding it, again and again. Until next time, keep looking for the joy in your everyday. It's there, I promise.